A city blessed by the gods, a love so powerful it sparked a war, and a betrayal so cunning it changed history forever. But what if the Trojan War was more than just a myth? Beneath the legendary tales lies a story of real people, devastating conflict, and hidden truths. Today, we'll journey through the blurred lines of history and mythology to uncover the heartbreaking reality of the Trojan War, including the cunning plot of the Trojan Horse that sealed Troy's fate. Stay with us to discover what history books never told you. The seeds of war. The story of the Trojan War begins with a wedding. Not just any wedding, but the marriage of Peleus, a mortal, and Thetis, a sea goddess. It was at this celebration that the seeds of the war were sown. Eris, the goddess of discord, threw a golden apple inscribed with the words, "To the fairest." 3 goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, claimed the apple, leading to a contest that would change the course of history. Paris, a Trojan prince, was chosen to decide who was the fairest. Each goddess offered him a bribe, but it was Aphrodite's promise of the most beautiful woman in the world that swayed him. That woman was Helen, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. When Paris took Helen back to Troy, it wasn't just an act of love. It was a spark that ignited a war. Myth versus reality. But here's where the story takes a turn. While Homer's Iliad paints a vivid picture of the war, historians have long debated its authenticity. Did the Trojan War really happen, or is it merely a fictional tale? In the late 19th century, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann discovered the ruins of what he believed to be ancient Troy in modern-day Turkey. The evidence suggested that a great conflict did take place. But was it the Trojan War as we know it? Or was it a more mundane struggle over trade routes and power? Scholars argue that the story of Helen and the Trojan Horse might be embellishments, added to make the tale more captivating. But what cannot be denied is the city of Troy's strategic importance and the likelihood of a brutal war fought over its wealth and position. The Trojan Horse. Now, let's delve into one of the most famous and debated aspects of the Trojan War, the Trojan Horse. According to legend, after years of failing to breach the city's walls, the Greeks devised a cunning plan. They constructed a massive wooden horse, hollow on the inside, and filled it with their best soldiers. Pretending to abandon the siege, the Greeks left the horse at Troy's gates as an offering to the gods. The Trojans, believing they had won, brought the horse into their city as a trophy. But during the night, the hidden Greek soldiers emerged, opened the city gates, and allowed the Greek army to invade. Troy fell in a single devastating night. Some historians argue that the horse may not have been a literal structure, but a metaphor for a siege engine or another form of trickery. Regardless, the Trojan horse has become a symbol of deceit and strategy, forever tied to this legendary conflict. The tragedy of Troy. Let's return to the tale itself. For 10 years, the Greeks laid siege to Troy, unable to breach its walls. The cost of war was devastating. Heroes like Achilles, Hector, and Patroclus met tragic ends, their deaths immortalized in poetry. But behind the glory of battle lay a grim reality, the suffering of ordinary people. Women and children, the true victims of war, were enslaved, displaced, or killed. Even Helen, often portrayed as the villain or prize, was a woman caught in a conflict far beyond her control. The fall of Troy marked not just the end of a city, but the loss of an entire civilization. Its people, culture, and history were erased in one fateful night. Unveiling new theories. In recent years, new theories have emerged about the Trojan War. Some suggest it was not a single conflict but a series of battles over centuries. Others believe it was a symbolic tale, representing the struggles between emerging Greek city-states and the powerful Hittite Empire. What do these theories mean for the legend we know? They remind us that history is never static. It evolves as we uncover new evidence and reinterpret the past. The human cost. Behind the grand tales of gods and heroes lies the true cost of the Trojan War. Human suffering. For the people of Troy and the Greek soldiers, The war was not an epic adventure, but a devastating tragedy. Families were torn apart, cities were destroyed, and countless lives were lost. This is the side of the story often overshadowed by the glory of battle and the intrigue of myth, the enduring legacy. The story of the Trojan War continues to captivate us because it speaks to universal themes: love, power, betrayal, and the consequences of human ambition. It's a story that has been retold for thousands of years, in countless cultures and forms. As we reflect on its legacy, we are reminded of the enduring power of storytelling to preserve history and teach us about ourselves. The Trojan War may never be fully understood, but its lessons are timeless. It teaches us about the dangers of pride, the power of love, and the fragility of peace. As we end this journey, let's remember the countless lives lost, the heroes forgotten, and the truths buried beneath the sands of time. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, let's keep the conversation alive about the truths hidden in our history.